Okay, imagine getting off work after a long, exhausting day. Pick up your child, your 5-year-old, from the babysitter, and you have to go to the grocery store to make sure you get groceries, or else you may not have dinner tonight, so it's a must. You get to the grocery store, you fill your basket with groceries, and you're about ready to go check out when your child decides to throw a complete temper tantrum, throwing things out of the buggy because you didn't buy him his favorite cereal. He proceeds to throw himself in the floor, and he just starts screaming, kicking and screaming at the top of his lungs, and people start staring, and some of them look familiar. Is that the pastor looking from around the corner? Everyone there probably thinks that you're the worst parent and wonders why you can't have no control over your child. So you start to plead with your child to stop what he's doing, but to no avail. The kid keeps screaming and kicking, and while you stand there like a deer in the headlights. So what do? Do you give in and hope for the best and maybe go ahead and get your child the cereal that he wants? Do you abandon your cart and all your dinner and groceries and make a run for the nearest exit? Or do you escort your child to the nearest restroom and show him who's the boss? So, while it's true, you will find little modern research to support spanking. Today, I'd like to persuade you to consider that spanking does not lead to aggression. It does not lead to parental resentment, and that our ancestors had the right idea when they decided they were going to spank their children. Author Leah Campbell wrote in her excerpt, The Pros and Cons of Spanking, that her parents spanked her when she was a child, and that she has no ill effects from it or anything, but she doesn't agree with it for her children. She has a 2-year-old that had a severe hitting problem, but instead of spanking her child, people told her that she should spank her child, but she couldn't figure out how teaching your child not to hit, why you would teach your child not to hit by hitting. So instead she took her child to a behavioral therapist. So, and she did have good results, but as you can see, Campbell's child went through a severe hitting phase but was never spanked. So therefore, spanking did not cause her child to hit. Her child more than likely was hitting because that's a normal thing for 2-year-olds to do. Spanking does not lead to parental resentment. My parents spanked me and my siblings, and I don't feel any resentment. They don't either, and I don't feel any of those feelings at all. I spanked my own child a few times, just for serious offenses, but she knew innately that I would do it, so that's really all it took. So now that I've given you a few examples of people who've been spanked and lived to tell the tale, let's consider why our ancestors were right in spanking their children. According to the article I have here to show you, hopefully it'll stay up. According to the article, The Growth of Incarceration in the United States, about 375,000 people were incarcerated in U.S. prisons and jails in 1972. The Bureau of Justice Statistics reported that by 2015, about 1.5 million people were incarcerated in United States jails and prisons. in a matter of about 43 years, it over 4 times the amount of people were incarcerated. And 43 years is about roughly 1 generation or so. People today still, in most part, believe in the old-fashioned form of discipline. The Brookings Institute reports that in 2012, over 70% of Americans still believed it was okay to spank, even though it's politically incorrect to admit to that. So regardless of your beliefs in discipline, I hope you leave today with the understanding that spanking, if you use it in moderation and with love, is not abuse. It does not lead to parental resentment, and it's a useful tool to ensure healthy, well-behaved children who will hopefully grow up to be functioning members of society. Thank you.